Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me on this Saturday morning, guys. I hope you're all good. Hope you're enjoying the elements of the weekend, of course, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me before we start, of course. Work up those algorithms, of course, guys, because that's what the YouTube loves, a little bit of algorithms, doesn't it, guys? So thank you so much for everyone who's clicking a like. Thank you, everyone who's smashing a like. Thank you, everyone, whatever you're clicking, whatever you're smashing. I don't mind. But, guys, thank you. And please don't forget to subscribe as well. If you're lurking in the distance, if you're lurking in the shadows and stuff like that. Of course, guys. Now, look, let's get into some Man United news. Of course, there was the press conference from Ruben Amorim only last night. Of course, some kind of indirect hints about his squad, indirect hints about the mentality of his squad, about the implementation of the tactics, etc. And, you know, sometimes you have to read between the lines with this, you know, and Ruben Amorim does give some subtle little hints here and there about the lineup, about the team. But I'm going to get into the press conference in a bit. I'm going to talk about, get the transfer news over and done with first, guys. I want to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, Elliot Anderson. Now, Manchester City have emerged as contenders for Elliot Anderson's signature. Now, this has alerted Manchester United, and it's sort of like panic stations now. Manchester United do not want a bidding war with Manchester City, so Manchester United could possibly move forward this Anderson bid to January. Of course, Manchester United are preparing an Anderson bid in the summer, but with Manchester City's interest, this has sparked Manchester United into life, as if they ever needed to spark into life. They shouldn't need that, but it has sparked Manchester United into life in regards to getting a foothold on Manchester City and just getting the deal done and dusted. This is something that we've been talking about for a while now in regards to Anderson, in regards to getting the deal done, getting the deal done in principle. Even if you have a gentleman's agreement, just get something done, get something solidified. This is what we were talking about, isn't it? Now you're going to get teams like Man City, and rest assured there will be other teams as well. There'll be teams like Man City, other teams in the Premier League, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, who will be looking at Anderson. This is why when we mentioned Anderson months and months ago, Man United should have got the groundwork done. This is what we should have done. Got an agreement done in regards to Nottingham Forest, got a fee agreed, got personal terms agreed, something like that, of course, because you know what happens. We'll end up missing out on Elliot Anderson, one of the top midfielders in the country. Now, I would even say in Europe, one of the top midfielders in Europe. When you think about Man United and missing out on targets, of course, we had the same problem with Declan Rice. Declan Rice went to Arsenal. People say, oh, it's too much money, it's too much money. I'm sure Arsenal are not regretting now spending that money on Declan Rice. I actually think, guys, that Anderson's ceiling is even higher than Declan Rice. I actually think it's even higher than Declan Rice. So it will be advisable for Man United to get something done, get something blueprinted right now in regards to getting something, you know, anything, even if it's on a piece of tissue. You remember when Messi signed for Barcelona and he signed a piece of tissue, get something like that and sign something, because at the end of the day, we will end up missing out on another very talented midfielder. Looking at Man United, are Man United an attractive proposition at the moment, which is one of the biggest questions that everyone's going to ask. Why would Elliot Anderson go to Manchester United? Of course, it's a big question. He would go to Man United. He would love to go to Man United, and he wants to go to Man United. However, if the likes of Man City, if the likes of Chelsea, if the likes of Arsenal, what makes Manchester United an attractive proposition, guys? Because at the end of the day, we have to remember that these guys are not Manchester United fans. We're fans. We say, oh, we'll pick Man United. Of course we'll pick Man United. We're Man United fans. We're going to say that, of course. He's not. If anyone comes in, he's going to think about his career. This is why this is so important. A couple of things. Man United get something done in principle, or Man United sign Anderson in January and we work it from there. And I think it'll be an absolutely fantastic signing in January if it does. I'm tired of hearing the negativity around Man United. I'm tired of hearing the old pessimism around Man United in regards to the board, in regards to even the manager to an extent. Very pessimistic stuff being said. And I want there to be much more of a positive thing going on. I want there to be a more positive outlook on Manchester United, on the way we're going, because at the moment it's all like, oh, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. You know, and they do give us reason to be doom and gloom. Of course they do, but they do overly emphasize the doom. And I want us to be enthusiastic, and I want to talk about transfers in January window, of course. And it's pretty certain, it's pretty obvious that Ruben Amorim wants transfers in January. He does. You can tell by the way he's talking in the press conference. You can tell that he's not entirely happy with his team, and he's not entirely happy with the way things are going at the moment. Absolutely understandable. And, one thing I want, though, I do want Ruben Amorim to call out this. I do want him to be much more clear in what he's saying in regards to, I need players, I need to improve my squad, because this is what he was doing before. And I don't want him to get into that bracket of Erik ten Hag and other managers before him who protect the Glazers, who protect Ineos. I don't want him to do that. I want him to actually go full throttle and speak his mind at the end of the day, because we do need transfers. These transfers, the Elliot Andersons of this world, needed to be done in the summer anyway. We wouldn't be in this position if we'd done that in the summer. And as Ruben Amorim said in his press conference, we should have a lot more points. And if we sign the players that we were supposed to sign, if we've sorted out the midfield, I'm pretty certain that Man United would have had a lot more points, guys. I really am sure, guys. Absolutely. Let me know what you think about that, guys. How are you feeling about Anderson? I mean, I think he's a generational player. I think he's going to be an absolute superstar for years to come. I'm looking at the England squad, and I'm looking at that England squad thinking, wow, what a team. You got Declan Rice as well. Obviously, you've got Elliot Anderson. You've got Eze there. You've got Palmer there. It's a great team, to be honest with you, and they are contenders for the World Cup, of course, guys. But Anderson would be a great signing. So would Adam Wharton, guys. We come head-to-head with Adam Wharton if he is fit. There was rumours about Adam Wharton missing the plane back to London during the week. Of course, Crystal Palace lost 2-1 to Strasbourg, and Elliot and I think two players missed the plane back to London. It was either the coach or the plane they missed back to London. Now, there is rumours that he might not play. If Adam Wharton does not play, then that would be absolutely fantastic for Man United. But I do think they're going to squeeze him in. I don't think they're going to leave him out for that, just as long as he's back in London now, of course, guys, because otherwise he won't be able to play, will he? But Adam Wharton and I think it was I've forgotten the other player who was with him missed the bus, the coach or the plane back to London, and Glasner was not happy with what happened. He obviously he's in trying to input an element of discipline, and no one is invincible in the Crystal Palace squad. The more negativity around Crystal Palace, the better for Manchester United, to be honest with you. We got our own problems. Cunha is not going to be back. We've already missing Sesko. So obviously we're in a bit of a pickle when it comes to that area of the pitch. Of course, the attacking side of the pitch, we've got problems. But this is what, again, I said, just like I said with the Everton game, it's time you stood up. It's time you stood up, and made it, give us a reason. Give Ruben Amorim a reason for him to play you, for him not to leave you out next time. That's what I would say, of course. Let me just read for you some of your comments, guys. Big up everyone. Hope everyone is good. Big up Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up the girl Gaffer. What's going on? How can we hit a like? Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, girl Gaffer. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Gee, what's going on? My good to see you. Good to see you, FM. How you doing? Morning, Sal. Why do you look frightened in your thumbnail? Because obviously I'm frightened that Man City are going to steal Anderson, Dave. That's why, because if they steal Anderson, they're going to have a fantastic player. It's called. You want to understand when you have a business. If Sal Warner was Elliot Anderson, he would have surely chosen Pep over Amorim. If Sal Warner Elliot Anderson, he would have surely chosen Pep over Amorim. Would I? No, not necessarily. Maybe in 2013, but not right now. No, I wouldn't. I think Pep is on the way down. I don't think he's on the way up. Definitely not. I pick Manchester United. That's what I pick. Paul, let's get those likes up. Likes up. What's going on? Oh, did I write lies? Sorry, guys. Big up, Paul. Big up, everyone. Sorry, get the likes up, guys. Let the likes. Let me just check this out. I think I've written it wrong. I was confused there. What was that? What the hell was going on? Let me just write this again. You get the likes up, guys. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Big up, everyone. Yeah, don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. Absolute legends. Big up, Paul. The big question is, do we trust Ineos will splash the cash out on the market and sign a midfielder? They have to, Ryan. They have to, because at the end of the day, look, for example, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say, for example, that Manchester City, They sign Anderson. Where are we going? There's only Adam Wharton left. There's not many midfielders out there. Of course, we can think about Lamine Kamara and Agume and players like that nature, but they're nowhere near on the level of those two players. And if we really are serious about progressing as a football club and getting better, if we are serious about this, we've got to get these players. It's exactly what I said a few years ago when Declan Rice was made available. Just pay the money. We need a midfielder. Pay the money. Get the player. And look what's going on with Declan Rice. One of the best midfielders in the world at the moment. Yeah. And this is what we're talking about. You have to pay for the quality. You have to get it. I would say get him in January. Get him in January. Imagine we got Anderson in January, mate. Imagine we got Anderson in January. Imagine the boost that would give to this team. Imagine the potential to get into the Champions League as well. I don't want to be negative, but Crystal Palace are better than us. We will lose this one. I don't think we will lose this one, mate. I don't say we're going to lose. If you're a Man United fan, you never say we're going to lose Chiedosi. Are they better than us? They play better than us. They're better suited in their system. That they lost to Strasbourg on Thursday. Why are they better than us? We got some better players than them. Individually, they've got some better players than us. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? But we should be able to beat Crystal Palace. I don't go out there and say that Man United are going to lose the game. Man United fans don't do that. Just a little bit of an education for you, my friend. We don't go out there and say Man United are going to lose to Crystal Palace. 100%. No, we don't. Because we should beat Crystal Palace. And this is the mentality that is wrong with the fan base. Oh, we're going to lose this one. We're going to lose. You know, and that's not being realistic. That's being pessimistic, and that's being overly exaggerating in pessimism. Everton played a 2 banks of 4 against Manchester United. What happened when Man United played Arsenal last year? When Man United played 2 banks of 4, what happened? Man United won the game. Sometimes it happens like that. That is life. Man United were down to 10 men, went to extra time against Arsenal and beat Arsenal at the Emirates with 10 men. That happens in football. Play 2 banks of 4. Sometimes it's incredibly difficult to break that down, you know, and that's what people have to look at that, and people have to look at things in a way that is objective and in a footballing educational way. Gail Geffer, instructions were unclear. I've told 5 lies now, and there you've reverse psychology. The reverse psychology. See, I got you there. The reverse psychology. See, there's a Costa Cup. The reverse psychology. That's what it's all about. Dave, I have friends you got friends that support everyone, Dave. Don't know what to believe anymore. Nice. And when news came out that Ineos are buying shares in United, they told me that issue with Ineos is that they promise things that they can't deliver. That's something that was well known, Dave. Very well known when it was happening at the time. It's something that I mentioned a year ago, bruv, a year and a half ago. It's something very well known. There's quotes and everything, Dave. Your friends don't know shit. They're just telling you what we already know, mate. Oh, goodness me. Ephraim, Sal, it was great show in Mo channel yesterday. Thank you, Ephraim. Thank you for tuning in. Everyone that tuned in, guys. Everyone that tuned into Mo's channel yesterday, it was fantastic. Great show, yeah. Obviously it's difficult for me. I feel like I'm going into a club with trainers, you know, because obviously Man United are not in a title challenge, so to speak. So I feel like I'm walking into a club with trainers on, and I'm about to be kicked out of the club because I'm a Man United fan. And obviously I think things aren't as rosy as they should be, of course. Absolutely. Chidosa, no problem, mate. All good, brother. We live in a universe where Bournemouth are top 4. Exactly right. No one knows. Exactly. And this is one thing I would say. Please, I know it's difficult sometimes, guys, and I get frustrated as well. Please don't be so pessimistic in regards to football, in regards to Man United. We could do anything. We've beaten Liverpool this season. We've beaten Chelsea this season. We've beaten Brighton this season. We've beaten Sunderland this season. We know how good Sunderland are beaten. Sunderland drew 2-2 with Arsenal. We beat Sunderland comfortably. This is the Premier League. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you never know. Dave. United will come good soon as they need a few platters in January. Big up, Sal. Big up, David. Good to see you. I agree, mate. I think. Look, I'm tend to look at the glass half full. I'm always going to be that, and it's always very important, guys, to look at the glass half full. As a Man United fan, positivity resonates. I know sometimes it seems like a million miles away, but we have to believe anyway. I know what happened at the weekend. You don't need to tell me. We don't need to paint a picture of what happened at the weekend. It was awful. It was terrible. It was disgraceful. I know. I'm going to paint a bit, but I will give context in regards to what can happen in football. If you don't give 100%, this is what happens. You will come unstuck, even if you're playing against 8 men. You will come unstuck if your team doesn't give 100%. And this is what happened against them. So I would like to think in a world that, you know what, a perfect world, which it isn't, by the way, but I would like to think that Man United will play that game tomorrow in a way that, you know what, will rectify what happened last week and will make up for the wrongs that they did last week, which was the embarrassing defeat against Everton. Bernard, what's going on? Morning, Sal. Met Vidic yesterday. Brilliant. Absolute legend. Need to make a shout out to the supporters club in Malta for this. Big up Bernard. Big up the supporters club in Malta. Of course, we have supporters club over here as well, guys. Big up the supporters club. Cheers, guys. There you go. Got all the Christmas cups going on now these days, isn't it? This is in the UAE as well. You see. Yeah, we don't integrate. So basically, big up the Malta fan crew, of course. Big up Nemanja Vidic, the greatest defender in Premier League history, in my opinion. 2 times player of the year. 2 times player of the year. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Roy, Premier League is the way a lot competitive this season. Roy, Premier League is way the Premier League competitive. Everyone's just as shit as each other, Kenny. Everyone is crap. That's it. I think it's one of the worst Premier Leagues I've ever seen. But the thing is that everyone is as crap as each other. So when all these teams are as crap as each other, this is what happens. You're going to get a close title race. There's no team apart from maybe Arsenal that I look at that I think, yeah, they're a good team. They're good. But even when I look at Arsenal, I don't look at Arsenal as one of the greatest Arsenal sides of all time. I've seen many better Arsenal sides. It's just that this league, again, I'm not saying this because Man United are not there, but having watched every single season of the Premier League, this is probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest league I've seen. You know, and it's not just the Premier League, by the way. It's also the European teams as well, the French, the Italian. Look at Italian football. Look what's going on with Italian football. I was raised in an era during the 90s where every Italian football was the place to be. You had Inter Milan, you had Juventus, you even had Parma. Even Parma had Gianfranco Zola, Faustino Espria. You had Inter Milan, who had Zamorano, who had Roberto Baggio, who had R9. You had even Parma, who had Thomas Brolin, Darlene. You had teams there. Lazio, who had Marcelo Salas, Simeone, and things have just gone so bad these days in regards to quality. I don't know what it is, absolutely, but it is what it is, of course, guys. Absolutely. Chidoso, AFCON is how long away? 21st of December. Chidoso, big up Chidoso, by the way. 21st of December is the AFCON. It will be 21st to the 21st of January. So 21st December, 21st of January, which is a big problem. Big up Tuto, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hope everything is blessed with you, and hope you're having a good morning, of course, wherever you are in the world. So my friends have been Nice supporters since the 90s, and that season ticket holder, they do know what they are talking about. But you're talking about things we already knew, Dave. They don't care if they have a season ticket. There's people at Man United have season tickets, don't know nothing about what's going on inside the clubs. Doesn't matter if they had the season tickets since the 70s. Who cares? You talk a lot of smack, mate. That's what it is at the end of the day. I've spoken about this many, many times. My friend said this. My friend said that. My friend at Brighton. My friend at this. Oh, man, come on, man. Just hold it, man. Just hold it. Don't worry about it. What I'm saying is we have seen Ineos don't really have a good record in sports. So guys in them should watch out. I think people know that, mate. People know that with Lausanne. People know that with whatever they've done in football. People know that with Nice. We know that. This is no shit Sherlock moment again. Of course we know. I know. This is why I went on Qatari television and spoken about the full sale and spoken badly, well, not badly, but I spoke about the birds and the bees about Ineos. I'm well educated about it, and at the end of the day, and this is why I was invited on the Qatari television channel, of course, but it is what it is. We move on. We have to wait and see what happens. In Amram, we trust Amir. I don't trust you, mate. WWE Survivor Series tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, big up Dom, man. Dom Mysterio. I want him to win. Guys, I'm one of the few. I don't really like John Cena. I don't. I got many stories about John Cena. If you want to know, I'm not a big fan of John Cena. LT, big up Sal. Amram kept saying numerous times that we don't play at the same intensity, and every time we in the lead, we don't kill off the game. And this has been there before him. Yeah, it's exactly what I've been talking about all week, LT, about how this mentality, how Man United don't finish games, how when Man United are given an opportunity to take advantage of a scenario and they don't take it. This has been going on for a long, long time. years before Ruben Amorim, guys. Before Ruben Amorim. Now, let me just get into some quotes, guys, from Ruben Amorim, of course, guys. Let me just read out a couple of these. Quotes, if you don't mind. So, basically, Ruben Amorim said, I look at the games and I think we should have more points, and that is really disappointing, frustrating in the last game. Yeah, we should have more points, but it is what it is, and we can't dwell on anything now. We can't dwell on anything. We can't, at the end of the day, talk about what has been. We got what we got, and we should have been. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, innit? At the end of the day, squad obviously. Amorim's update on injured players. Sesko's going to take a bit more time. Harry's going to take a bit more time. Mateus, the next one, but not this one. I'm really fed up with these injuries. Honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm really, really fed up with these injuries. I'm tired of the injuries. I'll be real with you guys. I am really, really fed up with the injuries, guys. Fed up with all these excuses. Why do these players keep getting injured? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Everything, like even a bloody bump on their knee or something, they're injured and stuff. It just drives me mad. The same things we do the same things we need to do to show players why we lost control against Nottingham Forest and Tottenham. Those games were there to win. Then I felt during the year the intensity was higher. But in this game, Everton, the intensity was not at that level. Exactly. Now, you can look at the Tottenham game and you look at the Nottingham Forest game. The characteristics were there in regards to the way Man United are playing, right? The characteristics were there in the way that we go missing with 20, 30-minute spells in games, which obviously costs us dearly. It's no surprise that the Nottingham Forest game and the Tottenham game were duplicates of each other because obviously we were 1-0 up and in the first half. Then in the second half, we concede 2 quick-fire goals. We're 2-1 down, and then we save the game. This is obviously a problem that Man United do. I don't know whether it's an implementation, a mental thing, a fitness thing, a quality thing. Maybe it's the whole lot. Maybe it is that. But one thing's for certain, those games we really should have won. I'll be honest, guys. I really do think we should have won that game. And yeah, Ruben Amorim is right in that one. Amorim said, we need to know how to finish games in order to win. This is a quote that I would put on a platter in Man United because we don't know how to finish games off. We never known how to finish games off, especially in particular over this last few years. We've not known how to finish games off. This is not just a new thing. This is a thing that, has been going on for years before Ruben Amorim came in charge. This is something that's been going on for a long time, guys. And we don't know how to we go 1-0 up. We don't know how to do 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. We don't know how to do that. That's why it's very surprising to me last year when we beat Everton 4-0, and it showed you that these players, they can do it. You know what I mean? They can beat that Everton side 4-0. But at the same time, they don't do it very often. And it's not like the old days where we win 9-0 and 8-0 and 6-0 or 6-1 and like that. We don't do that anymore. We don't go for the kill. We don't go for the juggler, and that's the problem in regards to Man United these times. As I said, we need to improve the characteristics of the team. Thank you very much, guys. Now, I want people to read in between the lines in regards to this. This is basically a rallying cry that we don't have the characteristics. Basically, we don't have the talent in the squad at the moment. Characteristics is the same thing for me. And this is what we've been talking about. Context, right? Context, culture, mentality, character. In regards to this team, in regards to many of these players. Now, I would urge Ruben Amorim to look closer to home in regards to the players that have been there for years, that are contagious in regards to their lack of character, their lack of mentality, their lack of winning culture. And I would say that, look, you got to look at that leadership team, and you got to say that, look, they don't have the character to move up that table. Character is a big problem, but I would also look at things from a more complex point of view. It's not just character in players, it's character at the football club. The whole character, the whole culture at the football club is flawed. There's a problem at the football club. So at the end of the day, this is something that comes from the top and it resonates down. There's no character. There's no character in the Glazers. So how's there going to be that? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Absolutely. Amorim on other managers. When I have 2 weeks for the international break, I watch games of every single manager. I only have 6 years as a manager. I am always trying to learn. Now, look, let me just say something about this comment. I just want to say it, guys, and this is my opinion, right? I want to say something about this comment. Never, never, ever say I'm always trying to learn. Don't say it. You may want to learn, learning in regards to as a manager, you're learning, but never come out and say, I'm trying to learn, because what it does, it sends off a signal to the players that you're a rookie. That's how I feel. When I read that, that's how I feel. So what I would say is that don't say I'm trying to learn. You can say I only have 6 years as a manager, but don't say I'm always trying to learn, because that is the one. And obviously you can say that I watch other managers and stuff like that. But, I just feel like don't bother saying something like that. Don't bother, say I was 6 years, and you can say something like I've had 6 years in management. I've been pretty successful where I've been at Sporting Lisbon. I won titles at Sporting Lisbon, the first title in 20 years at Sporting Lisbon. I've worked in the Champions League. I've done pretty well in the Champions League, and I had great results in the Champions League, things like that. But you know what? As a team, as a group, as a club, there's always room to improve. You know what I mean? You say things like that. You don't say, I'm always trying to learn, because it just belittles you a little bit, in my opinion. Amran said it was a tough week, as it should be, but the process needs to continue and we need to go for the next game. Yeah, look, it's been a tough week for all of us. We've had an embarrassing week. As you can tell, we're very frustrated as a Man United fan base. We're fed up. And we don't want to hear any buzzwords anymore, we don't want to hear those highlighted words with the highlighted pen. We don't want to see it anymore. We're tired of these words and these buzzwords and these full storms, that we keep having every single week. What we need is results. That's what we need. Look, we've done all right. We've lost 1 in 6. All right. But then now we've got into the equation where we're 3 without a win. You see how things can change. Where 1 minute we're 5 unbeaten, the next we're 3 without a win. And that is where the negativity starts spiraling out of control. And this is what I'm talking about. So I just hope we got to just win the game against Crystal Palace. Hopefully we can change that narrative and we can move on from that, of course, guys. Absolutely. Amram on the comparisons between his side and Crystal Palace. We play a different way, and you can understand that by data. It is a different club, and they are doing that better than us. We play different, and they are just doing things better than us. They do things better than us, absolutely. And why do they do that? There's a number of things why this happens. Now, one of the biggest things why a Crystal Palace will play better than Man United is because the pressure is off Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are not Manchester United. Crystal Palace don't have any pressure. They don't, believe it or not. I've lived round the corner from Crystal Palace ground in Croydon for a long time, yeah? So I know about Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are a small club. They don't worry about, winning, qualifying for Champions Leagues and that. Whatever they win is a bonus, and they've done fantastically well to win the FA Cup last season. But these teams, they don't have the pressure on us. With Man United, it's a bit like Man United are playing in sand or playing with a fridge on their back, something like that. This is the problem, Man United. There's too much pressure, and many of these players can't handle the pressure of being a Man United player. Amran said on the wing backs, I don't know how you read data on Palace players. You can't compare. Sometimes you want to change a lot. Most of the time, I want Ahmad on the right, but they moves a lot. So is that a little dig at Ahmad? Is that a little dig at Ahmad? You want him on the right, but he moves a lot. Is that the fact that he's moving Ahmad into different positions? I think it's probably the latter. He's moving Ahmad into different positions. Now, when I think about Ahmad is not a wing back. Ahmad is a better right winger. I've said it forever. Better right winger, but certainly not a right wing back. Man United needs specialists in those positions. Ahmad is a player that is a winger, that is a pace winger, right? He's not even a number 10. You can't play Ahmad as a number 10. And I would question the ball knowledge if you think that Ahmad can play a number 10, because he's not got the guile. He's not got the technical ability to play that eye of the needle pass. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. And he's a quick player, a nippy player, but he's a player that will play on the wing. He'll be better on the wing. Now, look, that's what it is. And this is where we get to the squad. And this is where we're shoehorning players into certain positions, right? This is what we're doing. And 80% of this team is not Ruben Amram's. And it is what we have to remember as well. You know what I mean? It's not his players. And a lot of these players have serial failed over the years, and some of them shouldn't be at the football club. They are doing things really well. They play in transition more than us. All of these we have to look at, but in all of the positions, we can do so much better. I agree. Look, you look at Munoz, you look at Adam Wharton, of course, who are very, very good players. Crystal Palace have got some very good players. Of course, they've got Mateta as well. Up front, very, very good player as well. So, yeah, look, The Crystal Palace are a difficult side, but that's the Premier League. Welcome to the Premier League. Welcome. This is what it is at the end of the day. But ultimately, you need to remember who you are. You are Manchester United. That is what it's all about. You are Manchester United, and that's how it should be, guys. It should be you are Man United, and don't worry about what they do. Don't worry what they're going to do. Worry about what we're going to do, guys. Now, a bit of more transfer news, guys. I want to get into a little bit more transfer news. A couple of names that have not been mentioned yet. One is Nilson Angulo. He's a 22-year-old Ecuadorian international, 12 caps for Ecuador, 1 goal. Anderlecht, currently playing for in Belgium, of course. Nilson Angulo, 22. He can play left winger, right winger as well. So he can play on both sides. Man United are heavily interested in Nilson Angulo, have scouted Nilson Angulo amongst other clubs, and Man United amongst other players as well. So Nilson Angulo, Anderlecht, 22-year-old winger, Man United are scouting at the moment. Another player Man United are looking at in close quarters is Guerrero Reed. Now, Guerrero Reed is a player, plays for Feyenoord, of course, in Holland. 19-year-old, can play right and left back, right and left winger. So that's very attractive when you're looking at players that Man United could possibly sign. It's a very attractive thing, of course. He's 20 million. He'd be valued at. He's from Holland, a Holland under 21 international. Now, that is Guerrero Reed, 19-year-old, right and left back. Now, look, I know. Look, we're going to be looking at and mentioning these players that, are young, up and coming. Some of you may not have heard of them. But it doesn't mean that they're not good players. Obviously, Arsenal signed Timber, and he's been very good for Arsenal. Of course, remember when Man United were linked to Timber. Do you remember him? The Timber may not have been linked to both Timber. There's 2 Timbers, by the way. But yeah, look, it doesn't mean that they're not good players, and it doesn't mean that they couldn't fit the squad going forward. The biggest problem for me in regards to Man United is obviously the leadership group, the players that have been there for years, the players that have flattered to deceive for many, many years, guys, in my opinion. And that's what I'll say. So, couple of things, Nilson Angulo, Guerrero Reed, on Man United's radar. Look out for that. You play it by ear. Stretford Post exclusive. Big up, everyone. Of course, guys. Absolutely. Where were we? Okay. I just feel that Amram has his faults, and sometimes his decision-making and squad selection can be questioned, but the weak mentality of the squad and no squad depth outweighs his mistakes. LT. It's exactly right. And I like this because it's a balanced argument. And I like balanced arguments because it's not an extreme opinion. It's exactly right. He makes mistakes, but he's a 40-year-old manager. He's going to make mistakes. Sir Alex made mistakes. You think Sir Alex bought David Bellion or Jemba or Quinton Fortune, and thought they were going to be crap. He thought they were going to be brilliant. Or Manucho or players like that. He thought they were going to be brilliant, isn't it, at the end of the day? So look, what I would say is that he's going to make mistakes, but you have to minimize the possibility of making mistakes. Obviously, how do you do that? It's not with him, it's with the board. They got to back him. They got to back him with the players that suit his system. I'm pretty sure that we'll be in a different position if we had the wing back sorted out, if we had the midfield sorted out, and we had all and the squad sorted out as well, so that when we lose a player, we don't decrease, we don't decline rapidly and concede goals. So yeah, absolutely. He makes mistakes, going to make mistakes. 40-year-old manager playing in the Premier League, going to be a great manager. Arteta made mistakes at his initial stage at Arsenal. You're going to make mistakes. But one thing is for certain, he needs to be backed. He needs the squad. And until that squad has been given to him, I'm not going to judge him. And yes, I do trust him with players because he's proven that he can build players. He's proven he can build up the likes of Ignacio and Diomande and Quenda and Huermund and Jokeres. He's proven what he can do with young players. He's proven he can bring young players in and he can build up those young players. You know what I mean? And make them into superstars. Morning for that to 8, you legend. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Another game we are going to miss Cunha. Yeah, another one. Lee Gunner argues that Chelsea fans are La Liga, the best league in the world, but he can't even explain why Premier League side beating Barcelona, Bayern, and he's living in the 2000s, mate. He's living in 2000. The Premier League is 10 times better than La Liga, and that tells you everything you need to know about La Liga because this is not the strongest Premier League it's ever been. So at the end of the day, look, La Liga is cooked. The Premier League is better. I'm not saying that is rubbish. I actually think, guys, and this is my honest opinion, okay? I actually think that the Bundesliga is getting a little bit ahead of La Liga, a little bit. I think that's happening at the moment as well. I think La Liga, I don't know. They've got great players in that country. Of course they have. There's Spain. They're the European champions. Got one of the best international teams in the world. It's a great league, but it's not the Premier League. The Premier League is just so competitive. Guys, you would not get the results in the Premier League like you get in La Liga, like you get in the Premier League. You wouldn't get Everton with 10 men going Man United, beating Man United, even though Man United just gone away at Anfield and beating Liverpool. And you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get Getafe going to Real Madrid or going to the new camp and beating them with 10 men. You wouldn't get that, would you, at the end of the day? So, look, the league is dead. I've seen La Liga way, way beyond from when it was 20, 30 years ago. I've seen La Liga and stuff like that. And, yeah, look, it is what it is. Absolutely. And without physicality, you ain't doing anything on the football pitch. Yeah, I think Man United have missed out on physicality over the years, Ryan. Absolutely. I think physicality and athleticism has been a big problem at Man United over the years, in particular these recent years. We're very weak. Not only weak in physicality, we're weak in mentality as well. When we go 1-0 down, we don't have character. And this is what Ruben Amorim mentioned in the press conference as well. Character. We don't have that. Sometimes you're going to go 1-0 down. Sometimes, what do you think the Man United players were thinking in 1999 when Basler scored that free kick? What do you think they were thinking? You know, did they just put their heads down? Did they just give up? Oh, well, that's it now. Darn, we're just going to move on now. No, they didn't, did they? They carried on and they ended up winning the game, of course, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Yeah. Big up Max, by the way. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. The old guard at the team need to go because this will improve the characteristics in the team. We need, because there's a poison that filters down into the squad. So we need to let go of those already poisoned. I agree, LT. Absolutely, LT. I agree with that, mate. I agree. Yeah, 100%. As usual, LT, you always talk the gospel. And Bremo does remind me of captaincy with characteristics. Him, Cunha remind me, and Bremo, Cunha remind me of captain material, Kenny. Yeah, they definitely do. They do. They do remind me of captain material. But we got to get rid of those Dallots of this world, the Shaws of this world, and players like you. Still, can you believe we still have people who are Dallot fanboys or fangirls? My goodness, it's ridiculous. Mr. Deadpool, what's going on? Not every manager gets what he wants. He is a dreadful manager. Not every manager gets what he wants, but not every manager manages Manchester United. Do you think that they got Enzo Maresca into Chelsea and said, right, work with what you got? No, they gave him $1 billion, mate. If you think that the Liverpool manager, despite how badly he's doing, Arne Slot, do you think they said, work with what you got? No, they had champions and still gave him $1 billion. So this is what we're talking about here, guys. He's not a dreadful manager. That's pretty proven that he's not a dreadful manager. You know who's dreadful? The ownership of Man United, the Glazers, the Ineos. They're dreadful, not the manager. That remains to be seen. Will he be the Man United manager going forward? Maybe not. Maybe he will. Maybe become the new Alex Ferguson. Who knows? We don't know. At the end of the day, what we have to look at is what is going on at the moment, which is pretty clear. He has had a 4 out of 10 window in the summer, and that's what happened, mate. He's not a dreadful manager. You don't win in the Champions League, become undefeated in the Champions League, by the way, and win the first title for Sporting Lisbon in 20 years and build up the likes of Quenda, Ignacio, Diomande, Hoymond, Jokeres, yourself, right? You built him up yourself. You know what I mean? You bring a player from Coventry City and you make him one of the biggest strikers in the world. Is he a dreadful manager? Nah. You know who's dreadful? Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Dalot, Mount. They're dreadful. That is what's dreadful, mate. Absolutely. Big up, my friend, Stephen. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. I hate to cook, but when I cook a dish. Shaw, Maguire, Bruno, Casemiro, Dalot, and Mount, because there are guys who need to go for me due to injuries. Absolutely, brother. Age and not being good enough, and most of them fully poisoned with the losing is normal mentality. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I agree with that. Look, the thing is, LT, you know, the longer you keep these players here who have serial failure, let's be real, LT, yeah? They've serially failed at Man United over the last decade. And that mentality and that habit, which it is a habit, isn't it, is not going to just disappear. And if I was Ruben Amorim, the first thing I would have done, right, when I walked into that football club, I would have said, could I have a list of the contracts, how long they've been at the football club, starting from the top, the longest, and going down, how long they've been at the football club. And I would have said, this player, we don't want these players anymore. They've been at the club too long. What have they achieved? An FA Cup? No, that's not enough. We need players who are going to challenge. That's what I would. This is what a rebuild would have been. And this is what Ineos should have done. Who do you want? Who don't you want? What do you need to make this work? We believe in you. What do you need to make this work? A 4 out of 10 window is not gonna work anything, is it, at the end of the day? I got one here, Dave. Big up, Dave. I got one here. I got this one. I haven't read all of his novels. I would be telling a lie. But yeah, I've read a lot of them. I've seen most of Alex Ferguson's career, so I sort of know. Definitely. Big up, Dave. The Arsenal manager has had years and millions with no trophies. It's not just about trophies, as we know. With football, doesn't deal with absolute, Stephen. You know, we know ourselves by spending millions or billion on Man United. It doesn't necessarily guarantee success. Look at Liverpool. I've always been on the notion that the Galacticos sort of signings really don't work anymore. I remember Real Madrid when they went down that Galacticos route, that it didn't work, did it? You know, what I would say is that what Arsenal are and what Arteta has done. And guys, when I look at what Arteta has done at Arsenal, I just want to bring this in. You know, I'm going to bring this in. All right, if I can find it, 1 second. Just going to find it here. Okay, let me just share this page with you. Okay, I'm going to share this with you because it's very important. Right, I want to share this with you. Let me just do this. Okay. This here, if you could see it, is the team that Mikel Arteta inherited, right? So you look at this team, right? So you could say that, yeah, look, like United, he's building a team, you spend money and stuff like that. But look at that team, guys. Leno, Kolasinac, Socrates, Mustafi, Bellerin, Torreira, Ceballos, Xhaka, Bumba Clot Yang, Lacazette, and Pepe. That was the team that Arteta inherited. You know? Yes, he spent money. Yes, he's built a team, but what has he built? What has he built? And listen, this is coming from a place. This is coming from a place where I don't like Arsenal. And people know that I was raised on not liking Arsenal. I don't like Arsenal. But even when you spend money to build a philosophy, to get everyone feeding into your project, to get everyone who playing for you, it's not easy, as Ruben Amorim is finding out right now. But what is the key thing here in regards to what has happened with Arteta now? What's the key thing? He was backed. Not one of those players are playing at Arsenal now. The only one was Saka, who was playing as a left back at that time, and he ended up he was on the bench. So what we're talking about, guys, is backing your manager. Now, no, Arteta hasn't won trophies, but neither did Alex Ferguson in the first 5 years, right? He hasn't won trophies. But I guarantee you, Arsenal will win trophies. And when they win the first trophy, guys, because we can live in hope that they're not going to win a trophy, ever going to win a trophy. We can live in hope. But, one thing we have to admit, they play good. They play good football, and they're not a defensive side. And I'm going to put this on their side, guys. They're not a defensive side. They are the most attacking team in regards to positionally in the league, right? So at the end of the day, we can make up excuses just because we dislike Arsenal. I don't like the Arsenal fans. I think they're arrogant. I think they're full of themselves, but that's just the way it is. They've always been like that. But one thing you have to say, if I was to say one club in Europe that you would not want to play, if you're reaching a Champions League semi-final, quarter-final, whatever, you would not want to play Arsenal right now. Because you look at Arsenal and you look at their defense and you look at what they're doing, they've done everything to a T. They've done everything right. They're playing good football. They are controlled. They never look like they're going to be beaten. Even when they concede goals, they never look like they're going to be beaten. And we have to look at that, and we have to look at things from a fair point of view. Because looking at Arsenal, what Arsenal are doing right now, let's forget about the trophies for a second. What Arsenal are doing right now is where we want to be, right? With the trophies, of course, I know that. But we want to be playing that type of controlling football, number one. Then we can worry about the trophies after. No, I don't want to go 5 years without a trophy. That's unacceptable. But at the end of the day, what he has built is not easy. It's not easy. You can give someone the cement and the bricks and the stone and say, build me a castle. Doesn't mean you can build a castle, does it? And he has built it, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And I would say, you know, at the end of the day, what it would be is that Arsenal are well-run, well-drilled, well-owned football club. And they will be the champions probably this season. Because I can't see, look, guys, when I look at Chelsea, right? Chelsea have to win this game against Arsenal this weekend. They have to win. If they don't win this game, there's going to be this thing where who's going to beat Arsenal? Who's coming up? They played everyone. Who's going to beat them? They're just going to drift away. And we have to be realistic with that. But what is the most important thing with Man United? What's the most important thing? Man United stop these things from happening. We have to think about ourselves and we have to see how can we get up the league. What is a fact right now? What's a fact? They're top of the league. It's a fact. They're top of the league. I don't want to care about mentality. I don't want to care about anything like that. They've done things right. They're top of the league. They're where we want to be. That's what it is at the end of the day. They would not lose to Everton with 10 men. No, they would not do that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we do things like that. They would not go to Brentford and lose 3-1. You know, they wouldn't lose 3-0 to Manchester City and the Etihad. They wouldn't do that. This is the thing. They wouldn't draw 2-2 with Tottenham. Look what they did to Tottenham, 4-1. And I dislike Arsenal as a football club. I do dislike Arsenal. But at the end of the day, you know what? You have to give them the flowers. You have to give them the flowers for the way they're doing things. And they will win trophies, guys. And when they win trophies, just like when Man City won that first trophy, their first Premier League, it sort of resonates. It sort of becomes a feel for a trophy. We're going to win again and again. And that mental block releases. And then you know what? You're going to end up, winning things consistently. Of course. Max, it's all about the reinvesting back into the club. Exactly. And Arsenal are favourites for the treble. Look. I don't want Arsenal to win the treble. I don't want Arsenal to win the quadruple. I don't want Arsenal to win anything. And that's the fact to me, right? Coming from London, born and raised in East London, I don't like Arsenal. And Arsenal fans know that I don't like them. And Arsenal fans know what they are. And we always knew what they are. As I said many, many times over the last few weeks, in my life supporting Manchester United for 40 years, I've only had one compliment from an Arsenal fan, and that came after the treble. Right, and it was one small compliment. Other than that, I've never had a compliment from an Arsenal fan. Even in 2008, when we had Ronaldo, whether it was 1999, 2000, 2001, I've never had a compliment from an Arsenal fan in regards to Man United. One. And that was a brief compliment. Oh, Man United are a great team, isn't it? That was it. You know what I mean? There was nothing anyone. So I have no reason to gaslight Arsenal, to blow smoke up their backside. I have nothing to do that. But one thing I will do, I'll call football as it is, because I'm looking at our Man United team and I'm looking at us and I'm thinking, why can't we control games? Why can't we beat Forest when we're 1-0 up? Why can't we beat Tottenham when we're 1-0 up? Why do we capitulate? Why can't we smash up Everton when they go down to 10 men, spread the pitch and create chances? Why can't we do that? And this is the thing. I'm always going to ask these questions. I'm always going to ask these questions and say, but how comes Arsenal can do that? Arsenal can do that. What's the overriding fact? They can do things we can't do. And that's what it is. They do things we can't do. And we have to look at that, and rather than holding on to small wins, and that's what it is, small wins. We played well against Arsenal. It's not good enough. We played well against Arsenal. We should have, would have, could have. I don't care no more. I want Man United now, not should have, would have, could have. Flipping hell, we got to go out there against Crystal Palace this weekend and bloody beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park and do it and do the business and change that narrative and prove it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. When we were unbeaten in 5, Amorim didn't get his flowers for working with a poor squad, absolutely. But one bad performance, which he knew was coming here, because he said, there's not yet. This is what it is, LT. Like, I'll give you this is what it's like, right? It's like they're waiting in the wings. They're waiting under the floorboards, wherever they're waiting. And they're waiting for Man United just to slip up once and they go, I told you. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is a big problem in the fan base. We have to give him his flowers for what he done. We do have a very weak squad. We do have weak mentality. It's not just about talent. It's about mentality as well. And this is what I'm talking about. Arsenal have got that mentality, right? And this is one thing I was talking about. That Arsenal have that mentality. We don't have that mentality. And mentally is the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, if you're nervous and you're not if you're not confident within yourself, you know that. Especially if you're an attacking player, by the way. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, look, I'm tired of people who are just trying to be right all the time. They just want to be right. They don't want to look at things objectively, and they don't want to look at things in context. They just want to be right, LT. And that's what it is. That's why when he loses one game, that's it. Out he comes, out they come in the woodwork, and here they are. See, I told you, he's shit, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Come on, guys. Look at things smartly. Look at things in context. That's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up LT, my bro. Dave, my bro, big up. We really need to beat Palace the way we beat Brighton. It's at Old Trafford, though, isn't it, Dave? You know, I hate how Palace is slowly becoming one of our bogey teams. Also, our full support goes to West Ham. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. You know, one thing I would say is, yeah, West Ham could beat Liverpool. Is that the end for Arne Slot? If they lose to Liverpool, I'm hearing if Arne Slot loses to Liverpool, Arne Slot loses to West Ham, that's it. It's game over. Sayonara. Absolutely. But yeah, look, Dave, I agree, mate. I would love us to change the narrative in regards to Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they are a bogey team. Yeah, you have to say that. But then again, Dave, I look at things from who isn't our bogey team, which would be a much more sophisticated question. Who isn't our bogey team right now? You know, I would argue that Bournemouth are our bogey team. Wolves are our bogey team. Crystal Palace are our bogey team. There's many teams there that are our bogey team. We lost 3-0 to Bournemouth last season. You know, we lost 3-0 the year before to Bournemouth. You know, I'm looking at it and thinking, like, Man United just need to just bloody reset, and just start being Man United again. Show me Man United. I haven't seen Man United for years because what I'm watching is not Man United. It's not Man United. It's not what I grew up watching. We mentioned it yesterday. I mean, winning games before you walk out onto the pitch. You know, we used to win games before we walk out the pitch. People look at Rooney. People look at Cantona. You know, they look at that. Oh, wow, bloody hell. You know, we're going to be with a tough game now. Now they look at it and go, oh, Bruno. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Absolutely, man. It's madness, you know, when you think about it. Stephen, Arsenal definitely haven't won the treble. They have a few losses in them. They couldn't even beat Sunderland, but I know they are the best team in Europe. At the moment, they're the best team in Europe. I would say that absolutely, Stephen. But then again, I would also touch on that the European football is not as great as it used to be. It's very poor. That's not taking anything away from Arsenal. In regards to the Premier League, in regards to Sunderland, it was at the Stadium of Light, of course. But what I would say is this, guys, this is the Premier League. You know, this is the Premier League. Liverpool beat Arsenal. You know, anyone could beat anyone, but overriding your performances. Arsenal have overridingly better performances than they do bad performances, and they have a style of play that they all buy into. They fit that system, and I look at Arsenal, and even if they lose or draw a game, I never look at Arsenal and I think they're going to lose today. I never look at Arsenal and think, yeah, they're going to lose. They're rubbish. They're going to lose today. Like, you know, they're playing badly. I've not seen that all season, apart from Manchester United game, right, where I felt Man United played well and we were unlucky. But as I said, again, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It shoulda, woulda, coulda. Look, at the end of the day, if Man United are going to improve, we can't be bitter about anyone else. We just have to look at ourselves and think to ourselves, you know what? Arsenal are a great side. Arsenal are great defensively. Arsenal are a unit. They've got great players. Saliba, Gabriel. They've got great players all around that pitch. Maybe their left-hand side is weak, you know, which it is, obviously. But they still got a Madueke, you know, they still got a Martinelli. They've still got those players. But then they've got, obviously, Saka, and they got other players in that team that are Zubimendi and Rice. But it's not all about individual talent. It's also about the unit of the team. It's the team that they are. Do you know what I mean? They are a well-balanced team. History Channel. What's History Channel, mate? What's History Channel? The last time you had a girlfriend. How long is it to Arsenal to win a trophy? 5 years? Yeah, it's 5 years now. 5 years now. But as I said there, Slices Sib, I said it. Look, Arsenal haven't won a trophy. Fair enough. They haven't won a trophy in 5 years, and everyone's going to lay that on them. Everyone's going to throw the fact that they've not won a trophy in 5 years. Everyone's going to say that. Of course, they're going to say that. But we have to look at the bigger picture. We have to look at the bigger picture. They're getting close, guys. They came. Look, let's not forget. Let's not think that they got knocked out against Panathinaikos last season in the Champions League, because they never. Right? They got to the semi-final and they were unlucky against PSG. They had injuries as well. And you know what I mean? If they got to that final, they were one game away, guys. One game away. If they got to that final against Inter Milan, Arsenal winning that final. We saw what happened to Milan, and Arsenal would have won the Champions League. This is fine margins. This happened to Man United back in the day, right? All right, Man United won titles and that. But let me give you an example. Right? Man United played Dortmund in 1997. We went out 2-0 in aggregate. We were close. We came close. We were unlucky, right? We missed a whole load of chances, blah, blah, blah. You know, before that, we were getting close. We were getting close. We were getting close. Eventually, it clicks and it works. And you get that one trophy. That is it. For me, this is the season for Arsenal. This is the season for Arsenal, right? If they don't do it this season, this is it for me. Because it's 6 years now. And I actually think they're a good enough team to win the league. The fact that I'm hearing things like, Eddie Howe's a better manager than Arteta and Enzo Maresco's a better manager than Arteta, you know, I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? We have to call things as Man United fans, and we've seen the greats, right? We've seen greats. We've seen Alex Ferguson, for goodness sake. I've seen Sir Matt Busby, you know what I mean? I've sat 2-3 rows away from Sir Matt Busby in the 90s. You know what I mean? In early 90s. And to be honest with you, I know where we come from. I know we should know about talent, and we should be applauding what they've done, right? Because look, guys, we spent money, you know what I mean? But we've been bad at spending money. And I look at Arsenal and I think, you know what? Wouldn't you swap them right now? Would you swap the FA Cup, right? Right now, the FA Cup against Man City. This is a big question for you. Against Man City, take away that FA Cup, right? If we could be playing like Arsenal right now and be where Arsenal are right now, would you do that? Right in their position right now. Right now. Would you swap that FA Cup there and say, right now, this is where we want to be that with like Arsenal right now. We're Arsenal and they're Man United. You know? They will win the Premier League and Champions. It's awful to think about it, slice and sip, but it might happen. Arsenal didn't win nothing, even though they are playing well right now. Well, what we can only say, Kenny, nothing has been handed out in November. And when you're looking at things objectively, we're trying to reassure ourselves, and it's embarrassing. You know, I don't like Arsenal. Everyone knows I don't like Arsenal. But, you know, when we're sitting there trying to reassure ourselves and praying that they lose, it's just something that I never thought that I'll be talking about as a Man United fan, because we were always concentrated on what we are doing, how we are playing and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Slice of Sib. What does the live title mean? Our club's coming to HIJACK in January. Man City are looking to hijack the Anderson deal. They're looking to buy Anderson for Nottingham Forest. Man United are looking to speed up the deal so that they can stop Man City from buying Anderson, which means Man United might make a bid for Anderson in January to try and get that deal over the line, which will be great, which I think that Man United need, of course. Dave, if Arsenal don't win the league title this season, surely Arteta should be arrested. This team is good enough to win the title. And look, guys, let's not get it twisted. He built that team, all right? He built that team. No one knew who Gabriel or Saliba was, right? Look, guys, listen, guys, who before Gabriel and Saliba played for Arsenal, who were they? Who were they? You could talk about Declan Rice until the cows come home. He's playing for bloody West Ham. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who was he? Who was Saka? Who was Saka before Arteta walked in? He was a left back. He was a full back. Saka was a full back at Arsenal. This is what we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? So, look, it's easy to say in hindsight, oh, well, he bought this player, bought that player. But look at the players he's built, he made. You know what I mean? This is the thing, you know? Arsenal have signed 8 players in this summer, but we only have 4 new players. It's a shambles. And one of them was a last minute. And, and we didn't fix the positions that we needed to fix. I don't like the Amram and Arteta commands, not because I feel Arteta is better, but because I feel it's unfair on Amram because he's not been backed. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Backed. He's been backed. I brought up the team from Arteta, and look at that team that I brought up earlier on. Look at the team. Torreira, Maitland-Niles, Socrates and players like that. Look at that team and tell me that there's a similarity in between. Look, and then I would bring in the fact that what Man United team that Amram inherited and what team he has now is a big difference, isn't it? There's a big difference. He's not been backed. That's partly of it at the end of the day. And until Ruben Amram has been backed, we can't. No one is comparing him to Arteta, but we have to look at Arteta and why Arteta has been successful. It's not just about spending money. It's about being backed with players in and out. You know what I mean? In and out. And he's been able to change the whole philosophy of that football club. You know? And until we look at that, and you look at Ineos and you look at the board and you think, right, If you truly want to back, and let's not forget Arteta came 8th a couple of times, right? If you truly want to back this thing, right, you've got to not only talk about it, you've got to do it as well. You've got to make sure that you do it as well. Not only talk about it. Absolutely. LT, yeah, man, that's the point. So I was saying is what is right. Amram is not backed, but I'm very concerned about left wing back and finishing capacity without Cunha or Sesko. This is what we're talking about backed, isn't it, Max? Arsenal lose a player, they get another player in. You know, we lose a player, we're screwed. And this is what we're talking about. As I said earlier, I spoke about, you know, this. I spoke about this team from Arteta. Look at the team that Arteta inherited, right? And look at that. None of those players are playing for Arsenal right now, apart from Saka. Who's on the bench on this one, but he plays left back during this time. Look at that team and look how many players did Arteta inherit and how many players he has now. That's backed. We have Maguire, Bruno, Casemiro, Shaw, Dalot. You know what I'm talking about? 5 of those players have been there for years. Years, guys. Years. These players here, they don't exist anymore. They're not at Arsenal anymore. That is what we're talking about being backed. Do you know what I mean? That is what I'm talking about in regards to being backed. Do you know what I mean? How many bad seasons did Arsenal have? Arteta have 2, I think. 2 number 8s. But, you know, if he wins the league and Champions League this season, he's going to go on the dominating period, I'm telling you. You know, and there you go. Sal, this owners make us, it's not, as I said, it's not just about trophies. It's about, you can see where they're going. You can see what Arsenal, I know it's taken him a long time. It shouldn't take him that long. It's taken a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. He's been backed. And you can see as a collective where Arsenal are going. Right? Sal, the owners make us not compete for the Premier League and Champions League football. It's as simple. You spend well and you have, absolutely. It's not only that. It's about they're not backing Ruben Amorim. They backed him a 4 out of 10 window. LT, Light Switch FC, these players switch it on for the big games and switch off for the small games. Absolutely. We're expected to win, and that's the only consistent thing about this team, and that we haven't fixed the midfield for years. The last great midfielder we bought was Michael Carrick. Guys, thank you very much. You're absolute legends. Thank you for joining me. Big up, everyone. Really appreciate everyone in the stream today. Really great conversation. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Saturday. Keep your notifications on so when I go live, you guys will know wherever I am. And thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. We need to get to 50 likes every single Breaking Dawn, guys. It's very important. If I can just ask that one question, there are many people who watch the show who don't click the like, guys. So please, could you just click the like for me? And subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't like me, just do it for me. I know you don't like me. Garrett. Sal, good morning, brother. Nothing but a win. Absolutely, Garrett. Big up, Garrett. How you doing, you legend? Hope you're doing well. Big up, Slices of Sib. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, guys. Absolutely. How long did it take? Not long, my friend. Not long. Couple of years, 3 years. They're all gone. They're all gone. The ones that I've mentioned right there, they were gone in a couple of years. Don't worry about that. I mean, you remember Aubameyang? How loved he was in the fan base? Gone. It is all gone. Gone. Guys, thank you, guys. Really appreciate you. See you later on. Keep your notifications on. Smash a like, please, guys, again. And don't forget to put your notifications on. I'm Sal Warner. This is Break It On. See you soon. Peace.